I have this article right here. I'm going to pop this up in just a second. We're going to talk about the details of this. This encompasses the details of that email that was sent out by the president, by the administration, to millions of people talking about the distribution of this $2,000 dividend, $2,000 stimulus check, which would be massively helpful for a lot of people, especially during the year of affordability. And as of recently, as we continue to see inflation spiking, and we're seeing a lot of things increasing in price very rapidly so far, just the first handful of months in 2026. All right, anyway, let's pop this article up here now. Feel free to read through the details on this. Let me explain what's going on here. All right. So apparently the president sent out this email, and they're talking about the distribution of this $2,000 payment, right? So again, it talks about this payment that the president has been alluding to for many, many months now, and what it appears to be, and again, we don't really know kind of the whole details behind the strategy behind the distribution of this email, but it sounds like, and it appears that this is possibly maybe a fundraising email for the upcoming midterm election and basically things like that, right? So basically, it appears to be some type of a fundraiser email, and at the same time, basically saying, hey, haven't really fully decided yet, haven't fully committed yet, haven't promised anything yet, but still considering these $2,000 payments. Well, that's something that we would definitely need very much right here, right now. This also comes along with all of the other proposals that we've seen out recently where they want to basically eliminate taxes for income under 75 grand and the new $3,000 payment, which I've talked about in other videos. There's just a lot of different proposals that are out there. And again, right now with everything going on, not only domestically, right here in the United States, but also globally as well, there's a lot of people that are getting really, really, really pinched right now when it comes down to the finances, again, here in the United States. So the distribution of this would be massively helpful. However, we've got a little bit of an issue on our hands, which is, well, the previous plan was we would distribute this money out of the tariff revenue. Well, obviously, a while ago now, I don't know, give or take a little bit, maybe a month or so, give or take a little, but the Supreme Court did come in and strike down the IEEPA tariffs, right? But then immediately afterward, the president came back and implemented a 15% global tariff for a specified amount of time. And they're likely going to be instituting additional tariffs as well to basically bring that revenue back. But the government is still sitting on about $300 billion in tariff revenue that they brought in over the last year or so. So they still have that money, and obviously that money is supposed to be refunded. We'll see if it's going to be refunded at some point. But the big question comes in and says, how? How are they going to pay for this? And again, if you happen to be somebody that's concerned about, well, we're not going to get it because they don't have a way to pay for it, they just manufacture money. They just pull money out of thin air. They can do that. The federal government can do that. You and me? No, we can't do that. I mean, not legally anyway. It would be super awesome if we could, right? Just manufacture our own money. Hey, I want to go and have some fun this weekend. I'm going to blow a bunch of money, right? So what do I need? I don't know. Let's print up 10 grand and let's go out and do it, right? Obviously, don't do that. It's not legal, but you get my point, right? How awesome would that be if we could do that? Obviously, we can't. But the federal government, they certainly can. They can pull money out of anywhere. It doesn't really matter. So if they don't have a pay for it at the moment, doesn't matter. They can just take on debt to pay for it for the moment, and then eventually they can say, oh yeah, we're going to pay this debt down at some point, and then whether they do or they don't, that's for them to figure it out. But we're rapidly approaching $40 trillion in debt in this country anyway. What's a couple $100 billion more, right? I mean, seriously, at this point, what's the difference? And that's kind of the mentality that a lot of these people are actually considering, which is, we've got so much debt. I mean, really, are we ever going to pay this off? The big answer is no, never, ever. And that's kind of the whole big scheme behind this whole thing as well. But anyway, point being is that they could still easily do this. They've got so many ways and so many revenue generators that they could easily do something like this if they just wanted to do so. But it does seem a little bit interesting that the, again, president/administration sends out this apparent fundraising email talking about this $2,000 stimulus check, the $2,000 dividend payment that has gone out. And it seems a little bit interesting, and apparently still alluding to that may still be arriving at some point in the middle of the year. And again, I don't know if it is. I'm not promising anything here, okay? Sometimes I see comments down below and say, you promised it was coming. Dude, I'm not promising anything. I don't know. I'm not the person making the decisions on this. I'm just giving you the details as it's coming across the wire. But looking at what's going on right now, again, the affordability situation, what's happening domestically, what's happening globally, what's happening to the finances of everybody here in the United States, people are getting fed up. People are getting very, very mad and angry and frustrated. You can see it out there. There's a lot of people that are not doing that great financially, and they're getting very, very sick of this. Point being is that with the midterm election, honestly, not that many months away, right? I mean, obviously November is still a long time from right now, but we're zipping right on by through 2026 already, being a few months into the year. It's going to be here before we know it, right? And I've said this very clearly before in other videos. The timing of this $2,000, if they do it in the first place, again, a big capital if, IF, a big capital if they do it. We don't know if they're going to, but if they do, timing is very, very, very important. I've said this before in other videos. I would say, in my opinion, if they're going to do this, and if they want to have the timing proper on this, I would say that money needs to be in the possession of us no later than